So today I'm going to give you 10 reasons to inspire you to ditch dairy today. So number one, we're the only species who still consumes the lactation excretions of another species and after infancy. You know, it's not natural that we consume milk after infancy. Milk really is designed for babies. And you know, the milk of a cow is really specifically designed for that species. It's designed to bring a little animal into a 2,000-pound cow. Okay, so number two, milk destroys human bones. Yeah, that's really surprised me as well. We're all told that milk is ideal for building strong bones.
Osteoporosis is a degenerative bone disease, which has been widely linked to a lack of calcium. If this is true, nations with a high intake of dairy products, which are a major source of calcium in a westernized diet, should have low levels of osteoporosis. But according to a study done by a distinguished Harvard researcher, nations with high levels of calcium intake tend to have high levels of hip fractures, which is a key indicator for osteoporosis.
And so, in fact, the higher the dairy consumption, the higher the rate of osteoporosis. Exactly the opposite of what the dairy industry has been telling us for so long. One of the primary mechanisms for that is that animal protein tends to create an acid-like condition in the body called metabolic acidosis.
To combat this condition, the body draws upon its most readily available acid buffer, namely calcium in our bones. As the calcium is extracted to neutralize the excess acid, our bones are weakened.
Dairy is a very potent carcinogen, and it's the cause of heart disease, osteoporosis, diabetes, clogged arteries, high cholesterol, many other maladies and degenerative diseases. Check out the perils of dairy below in the description box. Dr. McDougall talks more about this. So there are many vegan doctors out there that advocate a plant-based diet, who have discovered the root cause of many diseases, and that is nutrition. Dr. T. Colin Campbell carried out the China study, which compiles 4 decades worth of research carried out in rural China. He linked that in the places where people consume the most dairy and animal products are the places that get the most diseases, most cancers, most osteoporosis and strokes. And he also discovered that casein, the main protein in milk, is very potent carcinogen, and it's very good at turning on breast cancer and prostate cancer. So in countries where milk or dairy products and cheeses aren't traditionally eaten, these places have very low instances of these kinds of cancers. Number 4, cow's milk really isn't a good source of calcium. It contains high levels of cholesterol and saturated fat, no fiber. Check out Dr. McDougall, The Perils of Dairy, and you'll see more information about that. I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but you know, the evidence is out there, so it's scientific evidence. Another thing is that dairy cows on dairy farms are actually these days deficient themselves in calcium. They're in very unhealthy, filthy, crowded conditions. They're often fed hormones, and they're feeding them food that doesn't contain much calcium, because cows get it from the grass, of course. They get it direct from the source, and this is what we really should be doing: eating some broccoli, kale, blueberries, blackberries, artichokes, almonds, apricots, fennel, figs, tofu, navy beans, non-dairy milks, azuki beans, tempeh, dates, tahini. In order to produce milk, a cow must give birth to a calf, just like humans do, just like any other mammals do. You know, we don't just start producing milk and we need someone to get rid of the milk for us and milk our boobies. You know, as a consequence, when these cows give birth to their calf after 9 months, they are immediately taken away so that they can hook them up to a machine and suck their udders dry day in, day out, constantly. They're also kept in continuous cycles of pregnancy through artificial insemination. A cow could live to be 25 years, but on these dairy farms they survive about 4 or 5 years because of the constant stress and strain and the traumas that they go through. The separation from their calf is a traumatic experience. Any species would experience this, and they experience this repeatedly. So number 6, veal is a byproduct of the dairy industry. So the male calves are considered as a waste product. So they're practically sent to the slaughter very early in the night at 6 weeks. Before this, they're separated from the mothers, they're kept in these hutches or they're tied to a crate. They're fed an iron deficient diet, they're not allowed to move, they're not allowed to develop any muscle so that the meat is more tender. Number 7, cow's milk contains high levels of pus. Yeah, because when the cows are being milked constantly day in and day out unnaturally attached to machines, they inevitably get infected. The udders get full up of pus, and as a consequence that the milk contains pus too. Milk is pasteurized, but it still contains pus, and legally about 136 million pus cells are allowed in a glass of milk. Its scientific name is somatic cell count, so check that out on the back of your milk carton, the pus levels before you drink. So number 8, animal agriculture is causing a global food shortage. There's about 1 billion people in the world who are going to bed hungry every night, who are malnourished, and where at the same time 1/3 of the world's corn, grain and soy is being sent to animals to be raised for meat or dairy. A dairy cow in a day consumes 100 pounds of grain. These animals produce less than they consume. So they are consuming about 5 or 6 times more the amount they are producing. It would be a lot nicer if we were giving these grains to the poor people, but instead we're giving them to animals to be raised for meat and dairy on dairy farms. So it is estimated that by the year 2050, the population will rise to 9.3 billion people on this earth. If we continue to eat the way we are eating now, in this unsustainable system, we will not be able to feed everyone. We would need the resources of another 5 planet Earths. Animal agriculture is significantly impacting the environment, more so than all the cars, trains, buses and planes put together, as the UN states. So, let's start off with methane. Methane is 100 times more potent than CO2. It traps heat into the atmosphere 100 times faster than carbon dioxide does. 700 dairy cows on a dairy farm are releasing 350,000 litres into the atmosphere of methane, which is speeding up global warming fast. Animal agriculture also causes deforestation. 70% of the Amazon rainforest has already been cleared to make space for soy plantations. Many of the world's resources and energy are being wasted in animal agriculture. For example, it takes 261 gallons of water to produce just 1 glass of milk. In comparison, a glass of soy milk takes only 9 gallons of water. Reason number 10. The dairy industry is a very big business. They invest billions and billions of dollars every year into advertisement campaigns. They also fund medical studies in order to convince us further that we still need to drink milk and it's healthy. So when someone has that amount of money, it makes it very easy for them to manipulate us, to manipulate the food recommendations, to manipulate what doctors say. And for that matter, doctors are not trained in nutrition. They study nutrition for about 2 hours of their medical training. Doctors are mainly focused on treating symptoms, treating diseases with medication and drugs. When people mention things about the dairy industry or the meat industry on TV, they run the risk of getting sued. And that's probably why a lot of people don't say that. Oprah Winfrey almost got sued on her own TV show for saying something bad about the beef industry. We really have to look at these things from all angles, not just believe what the TV says or what doctors say, and think for ourselves, educate ourselves, look at it from all angles and really think about what is really logical and what makes sense to us. Is it logical to drink the milk of a cow when it comes from another species? Is it logical to drink milk after infancy? Is it logical that we're told to drink lots of milk, even though many people are lactose intolerant in this world? So I hope that I've inspired you today. I really do. I hope that you'll give up dairy products and hopefully take the plunge and go vegan. So please like and subscribe and take it easy and stay away from the dairy.